Anybody who sounds like a beginner is because they're fixated on the details. They're not seeing the big picture. Their priorities are out of order. I'm assuming that you want to sound like a professional. I'm assuming that it's not enough for you to just play one note at a time, that you're after something that sounds professional. If all you want is just to play the right notes, I mean, whatever, you can easily look that up. People will leave a comment where they have just this big block of text where they just list out all the notes of whatever I played. I delete those comments now, because that's not the kind of conversation I want to have here. The conversation that I want to have is the one where you actually want to do something that sounds like music. So if you're an actor and you're Hamlet and you want to recite this monologue, you've got these English words. You could just try to memorize these syllables. To somebody who speaks English and can understand the language, that's not going to do it. You actually have to have meaning. There's some study where they take chess positions, like from a game of chess, the pieces on the board. And they show those positions to grandmasters and ask them to memorize and reproduce them from memory. And then they take those same positions and they show them to chess beginners. And of course, the grandmasters do a better job. Then what they did is they took a chessboard and put random pieces in random order. They're not from a game. They're just totally random. Grandmaster memorizes it, reproduces it. The beginner does the same thing. There's not much of a difference between them. Does that surprise you? The grandmaster is able to replicate things from memory because the grandmaster understands what they're looking at. It's the same thing on piano. If you understand what you're looking at, then you can replicate it. If you don't understand, then you're just doing one note at a time, and it's going to sound horrible. So the first step, we're not even going to touch the piano. You're just going to sing it. And you do whatever you have to do. Okay, so you're going to you're listen to this, find a way to sing it, find a way to take however you hear it. Now this can be difficult. When you first hear it, it's going to sound maybe very complicated. It's going to sound like this beautiful music. You don't know what you're hearing, but you have to somehow listen to it over and over again, find a way to get it to where you can just sing it. Now, if you look at the music, this can help you because you can see that there's 4 measures here. And each of these measures has 2 beats. And so that's what you're going to sing. Do da 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 2 da 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 1 da 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 2 da 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 1 da 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 2 da 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 1 da 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 2. I don't want to have a conversation with you about how to play the rest of this if you can't do that. That's the prerequisite to everything. Okay, because everything else is going to be built on top of that. You're going to do one step at a time. And always, you're going to start with something that's just a broad outline. If you don't get the broad outline first, then it doesn't make any sense to talk about the details. If you're not able to sing this without even touching the piano, then there's no conversation to be had. And we're not aiming to get every single note. Okay, it's just the broad strokes. Only once you've got that, you go to the next step, where you're going to look at the bass line. The bass line is just, there's just one note at a time. And let me tell you, when you play this, you're still going to sing. Now, what am I playing here? Well, you may have to take time to figure that out. You may have to go online, whatever you have to do, to figure out what those notes are, to figure out what keys you're actually going to press there. But you're only doing one note at a time because the bass line is just one note at a time. That has to be there. That's the foundation. You do that and you sing at the same time. If you go in order, you're starting with the big picture and then you're filling in the details. You don't start with the details. Anybody who sounds like a beginner is because they're fixated on the details. They're not seeing the big picture. Their priorities are out of order. It doesn't matter what fingers you use, doesn't matter what hand you use. You can use your nose if you want. Which hand you use, which fingers you use, those are nuances, those are details. I'm not saying they're not important. They're important, but they're important only as details. They're important only once you get the basic idea. It can never be more important to you than the big picture. So once you got that, we're going to add another layer. We're going to fill in a little bit more detail. The higher notes, you're going to have to take time to figure this out. Take as much time as you need. But once you get it, then you're just going to da 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 da. Don't skip any steps. Once you got that, you go to the next step. Well, what we're going to do is you play the entire chord. And again, you're going to take time to do this, but you see each one of these is a chord, and you're going to keep singing while you do it. I know half of you are going to just say, but Michael, just tell me what the notes are. I'll just play the notes. Yeah, it's going to sound like crap when you do that. This has to sound good. You have to sound like a professional musician. If you don't sound like a professional musician, then you're going to sound like a beginner. Is that what you want? You want to sound like a beginner? Is that why you're playing piano, so that you can sound like a beginner? No, you're doing it so you can sound like a musician. So we're not having any conversation where you're thinking it's okay to sound like a beginner. That's just an excuse. You just have low expectations for yourself. Come on. You're better than that. The music always has to be recognizable. This is why you start with broad strokes. It's like you're an artist. You make a sketch first, and then you fill in the details. At no point should it be unrecognizable. You should never do that. Why would you ever do that? You can't think that you're just going to do everything independently and just do all these little details, one little detail after the other, like you're doing a jigsaw puzzle and you just put one piece and then another piece, and you think it's going to turn into something. It's not. You'll never get there that way. Well, at this point, we can fill in the details. We can fill in each of those individual notes. And again, you can look at it and you can figure them out. You already know what they are because you played the chords, right? You did this. You have to do this. And now you're just going to play them one at a time. Now you can see, by looking at the music, you can see they're evenly spaced. So it's not like da da ba 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 ba. It's nothing like that. It's just da 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 da. You keep singing while you do this. Da 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 da. And then you can stop singing if you want. Now that's only the first 4 measures. I'm not going to go through the whole thing right now. This should give you enough of a starting point. You're going to put work into this. It's going to take time, but you go through these steps and then you're going to get it. I would love to help you with this. I would love to make sure that you're doing these steps in order. I would love to give you a hard time about this, but see, it's going to cost you money. I'm not going to do this for free. So what you can do is you can sign up for piano boot camp. We'll spend 2 weeks together. And I'll make sure you're doing this. I'll make sure you're following these instructions. I'll make sure you're not skipping any steps.